Welcome back to the Dragon Den, my loyal Dragon Knights. King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ken. And so here we have Ken posed and out of the packaging, and before we have a look at the figure, let's run through his accessories. Ken comes with two really impressive head sculpts, as well as two pairs of hands, as well as a fire Hadouken effect. Other than that, Ken doesn't come with any other accessories, so with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at Ken Masters. And so here we have a closer look at Ken, and Jada Toys has done a fantastic job incorporating his design and bringing it into action figure form. It's a really nice design, and there are some subtle differences separating Ken from Ryu. Taking a look at the head sculpt, this is a very nice head, especially for Ken. As is tradition, he has these really strong eyebrows which are very pronounced. And then he does have a big smile going across his face, which looks really good. And of course, Ken does have his blonde hair, which is sculpted really nicely and has this really impressive wash going throughout it. And I love the fact that it is made out of a softer rubber, so it does get out of the way. Ken is wearing a similar gi to Ryu, and just like with Ryu, it's textured wonderfully. Besides the texture going all around the gi, it has some impressive sculpt work in terms of folds and wrinkles. The differences in Ken's gi is that the sleeves are not tattered, so that is a complete different sculpt from Ryu. And the texturing on his back is still really impressive. And just like with Ryu, his gi is removable, so you can see his muscular physique. But because he uses the exact same sculpt, it has that really impressive detailing, especially with all the striations in his muscles. Just like with his torsos, his arms are the exact same arms that we saw with Ryu. Those muscular arms do a really good job matching Ken's physique, and I do like the fact that he is wearing brown gloves. And Jada Toys has done a really good job texturing his martial artist gloves. Ken's gi also drops below his waist, and it does look really good here. And just like with Ryu, he is wearing a black belt which goes over the gi, however his does not have any characters, it's just a plain black belt. Ken's pants carry over that same texture that we saw on his gi, and the folds and wrinkles are perfect, seeing as how it is mostly reused from Ryu. However, just like with his shirt, his pant legs are not torn and they are much cleaner than Ryu's. And just like with Ryu, Ken is not wearing any foot gear, so his foot is bare and exposed. But it still carries over that impressive shading, which looks really good here. So overall, the detailing on Ken is really good, and I am glad Jada was able to separate Ken from Ryu. With his details out of the way, let's get him compared to our usual suspects. Here we have Ken posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman, Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man, the Lightning Collection White Ranger, and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. Here we have Ken posed next to the rest of the Jada Street Fighter collection. And for one final comparison, here we do have the Jada Toys Ken posed next to the Storm Collectibles Ken. So Ken will scale nicely with the rest of your Jada Street Fighter display and the rest of your 1/12 scale figures. With his comparisons out of the way, let's have a look at his articulation. Ken does have a double ball joint in the hand and a ball joint in the neck. Butterfly joints in his shoulders. Arms go out to the side and do a full 360. Swivel at his bicep and double hinged elbows. A swivel hinge in his wrist. Ken has a ball joint in the upper torso and a ball jointed lower torso. Legs do kick forward, go back, out to the side, and have a thigh swivel. He has a double bend in his knees. A swivel at the ankle, hinge in his ankle, and forward facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, the standard Jada articulation, and it works perfectly here for Ken. So with everything said and done, let's get the Jada Toys Ken Masters posed for my final thoughts. The Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ken Masters is a really good figure, and if you've been collecting the Street Fighter line, you know what to expect here. Being a clone character of Ryu, I do like the fact that Jada Toys reused some parts from Ryu but still gave Ken his own identity. I love the fact that Ken's gi is a little more pristine than Ryu's, showing the difference in their fighting style. The accessories for Ken work here for the most part. I love the fact that he does get a separate head which has a different hair sculpt as well. And the two pairs of hands do a really good job conveying his fighting style, which is pretty accurate for Ken Masters. However, Jada Toys gave him a Fire Hadouken, which is kind of strange because Ken really doesn't use the Fire Hadouken. If anything, they really should have given him a flame effect for the Shoryuken, because that is Ken's signature technique. But other than that, Ken is still a really solid figure, and I love the paintwork that went into his body. But nitpicks and griping aside, Ken is still a really solid release from Jada Toys. With Ken being my favorite Street Fighter character, it was a no-brainer that I was going to pick him up the moment I found him. Now, I did find the Jada Toys Street Fighter Ken at Target, which is surprising because I honestly didn't even know Jada Toys was available at Target. If you can get hold of Ken and you're a fan of the character and you've been collecting the Street Fighter line, definitely add him to your collection. So with that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out the rest of my Jada Toys Street Fighter collection. If you're in a position to support the Dragon, then check out my Patreon where I do have some new exclusive content. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my fellow Dragonites, coming from the Dragon Den, I'm KingofDragons 5000, reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.